The purpose of this screencast is to provide an overview of the Shapefile file format. The Shapefile format is one of the most popular file formats for encoding and exchanging GIS data. The Shapefile was developed by Esri for their use with their very commercially successful GIS platform called ArcGIS. Esri has also made the specifications of the Shapefile format available to the public, so other GIS software packages, including QGIS, are capable of natively reading and writing shapefiles. Due in large part to ArcGIS's popularity and market penetration, shapefiles have become the standard format that we use when storing and exchanging spatial data in vector form. Shapefiles can store point data, line data, and polygon data, all data models that we use for abstracting real-world features as vector data objects. Although the name shapefile sounds like it refers to a singular file, every shapefile actually consists of several individual files that must not be separated. Without several of the files that comprise a shapefile, the shapefile will be considered invalid and will not be readable by your typical desktop GIS software package. These files include different files that provide several different components of the GIS data that we use. The file that we typically refer to as the core of the shapefile has an extension of .shp. This is the core file of the shapefile containing feature geometry, so this contains the actual coordinates that refer to the spatial data contained within the shapefile. And the .shp file is a required component of all shapefiles. Another required file within the shapefile is the .dbf file. This is the attribute table, or the tabular data, that has a one-to-one relationship with the feature geometry, meaning that for every feature that exists in the .shp file, the dbf contains a corresponding row with attribute data referring to that feature. This is, again, a required file. The final file that is required as a component of all shapefiles is the .shx file. This is an index, and this file, although it is required, is greatly beneficial to the shapefile as well, as it allows for higher speed interaction both with geometry and with attribute data. Aside from these three files, shapefiles can contain a wide variety of other related files. The most common among them are projection specifications, which with most GIS software packages use the extension .prj, but with QGIS also use the extension .qpj. These, if they are included, should be used and should be made available if a shapefile has them included, because they specify information regarding the mathematical transformations used to actually display and work with the feature geometry stored in the .shp file. Finally, some shapefiles will also include metadata, or data discussing the contents of the file, the origins of the file, or any other number of interesting or useful attribute information about the shapefile itself. This file is commonly used by ArcGIS, but is also readable by other desktop GIS applications as well. So having learned about the constituent files of a shapefile, let's take a look at a shapefile in QGIS and in the map finder, just so we can take a look at what it looks like. Okay, I have loaded a shapefile containing the counties of the state of California, and I've loaded QGIS in the window behind this finder window. As you can see here, I have loaded a folder that contains several constituent files of this shapefile. In fact, all of the files that were sent to me as a part of this shapefile are here in this folder. This is a common storage technique that we use when working with shapefiles in GIS. It's often easier to keep a single shapefile, like this California County shapefile, isolated in its own folder, so that the constituent files of the shapefile are never misplaced or confused. So if we take a look at this file, we can see that the dbf is present, meaning the attribute data is present. These two files containing projection data are present. The feature geometry is present in the .shp file, and then the index file is present as well. So because the .shp, the .dbf, and the .shx files are present, this is a valid shapefile that will load when I load it in my GIS software.